I think I am completely confused. I don't know what's going on. I am in awe of how people think. Relatives, friends, people I don't know. I am in awe. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But I'm really confused. I need an explanation. So my question to you now, my question is very simple. Why are we worrying about what ICE does? And bear with me on this because I can't wrap my head around it. I keep in mind I disagree with death in every single angle. Or people being killed. I disagree with it. But I'm also looking at this from a logical standpoint. ICE is out there and appointed by Obama, and the guy that's now being criticized because Trump pushes him is the same guy Obama hired to do a job, and they were a lot more inaccurate underneath Obama. I just shared it on Facebook, a post that somebody did research on, and this is not a guy that's with Fox or with CNN or with any of those news networks. He's kind of a neutral guy that has done the research. But I'm not trying to go there. The thing I am confused about, the thing I really don't understand, and I'm not going to say it's the right or the left. I'm just really confused. So you got George Floyd, who died from a police officer, maybe overpowered, maybe in a situation, who's on drugs, who is a criminal, who is arrested or being arrested, resisting arrest, number one, or fighting a cop, either way, while he's handcuffed, gets taken down, and because of the drugs he was on, he died. From the way I understand it. Now, I don't know the full things. There was maybe excessive force to force that. But because it was cops involved, and he was a black dude around white cops, we're going to praise George Floyd, even though he was wrongfully incriminated. Don't be wrong, I don't want to see death. And maybe there's a spin on it where the cops did use excessive force. I'm not saying that wasn't the case. I'm not justifying what the cops did, but the point is that George Floyd died and everybody was throwing protests. Everybody was being told to just go have a fit. You have Alex Preddy and the good lady. I can't think of her name off the top of my head because I've not been awake long enough, but it's been... I've had a lot of stuff going on, but this is something that has really been blowing my mind here. And I'm a nobody that's saying this, so I understand that. I have a guinea pig that's trying to drink water out of an empty bottle, but okay. I have a full bottle on the other side, but he's going after the empty bottle. Oh, I think it's full. But anyway, so you have Alex Preddy, who died from ICE agents, who's trying to do a job. Everybody's looking at the fact that he was shot, saying that the gun was already pulled away. Nobody is looking at the fact that he fought arrest. He touched an agent and pushed an agent away. People don't want to see that, even though with one hand he did while the other hand was up. He was pushing an ICE agent away. Any law enforcement, and yes, ICE is law enforcement, any law enforcement that gets touched is an automatic crime. A crime. He goes to this event with a loaded gun with 2 magazines. why do you get involved with a gun? What do you need a gun when you're just trying to protect somebody? It doesn't make sense to me. And not only that, but a week before that, he was also caught for causing trouble with ICE. And I'm not looking at news sources that are biased. I'm looking at neutral sources that are saying facts. He is an anti-ICE group that was funded by the government in Minnesota. ICE is just trying to protect our borders. Same guys that are hired by Obama working for Trump. And everybody's like, underneath Obama was not a problem. Obama was making a lot more mistakes. His regime was making a lot more mistakes, but nobody had a problem with it because he was trying to protect our country. Now Trump's doing the exact same thing. And every little thing is going on. Now, I'm not saying I'm protecting or disagreeing with what Trump's doing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not taking a side on right or left or Trump or Obama. I'm stating fact that I've been coming across for the last week since the last however long it's been since the Alex Preddy. But Alex Preddy laid hands on an officer, which is an automatic crime. They told him to stay back, which nobody is looking at. And if both of those things happen where they told him to stay back and he stays back, if he don't lay hand on a cop, and then on top of that, they took him down and he was still fighting. I don't care what anybody says. He was fighting the law of ICE agents when they were taking him down. And a group of people, it's easy after the fact, but ICE agents, cops, sheriffs, Ohio State troopers, they are all taught, number one, because they are people, they are taught to protect themselves first. But we're praising all these people these are all people fighting law enforcement, being arrested. They were going after somebody they believed was a person that broke the law. Being here illegal is, guess what? Breaking the law. The media is saying jump, and people are jumping. People said when you get when we got this sickness, close everything, cost businesses money, keep away. And people did it. When are we going to stop listening to what the government says and start thinking with their own heads? They want us to fight each other. They want us to cause trouble. But all these people are fighting law enforcement when law enforcement is actually in the right. The person's being arrested, George Floyd. ICE agents are trying to get people in Minnesota, which is a Muslim lady, which I'm not against Muslims. I'm not against all this stuff. But what people are not realizing, the Muslims and their Bible literally said, which is the Quran, literally says, kill those that are not Muslim. And I'm not saying I'm against Muslim people. But they have a person that is in charge in Minnesota, where their philosophy is kill anybody who's not Muslim. Attack those who are not Muslim. That is, from what I understand. And we're outraged because those 3 people died. And there's others that are on that list too. I'm just naming the 3 off the top of my head. We're outraged about it. But here's the thing that blows my mind. Charlie Kirk. He said he is being declared as people trying to... He is somebody who is so-called being called to incite violence, to cause problems. And the only thing he did was say, come up to the microphone. Come up and talk to me. Give me your best argument and let's have a discussion. That is it. There is a lack of attempt of discussion. He was pro-Trump. I get that. And all the people that are outraged about all these deaths with ICE and what ICE is doing and that it's unacceptable. But nobody has said a word about Charlie Kirk dying. Nobody has said a word about all these other victims. Olivia, Haley. Those are the two names I'm getting off the top of my head. That are being raped by illegals. That are being attacked by illegals. That are being mistreated by illegals. The list is a long one. Nobody says a word because the media doesn't mention it. Where are we going to look at what's honest and what's true versus whatever? And I have people that are actually saying I'm ignoring this person, ignoring me because they don't want to hear, because death is unacceptable. What about Charlie Kirk? What about Olivia? What about Harley? What about all these people that immigrants are mistreating and raping and doing all this stuff to? And I'm not saying that I'm looking at justifications on anything. None of it's right. None of it's right. And I'm sorry if I'm being really loud, but my point is very simple. Why are we justifying certain people because the media is telling us to and ignoring others? Charlie Kirk was a plain down assassination from whatever reason. And we could say he was wrong. We could say he incited violence. But he said, respect people. Somebody would start laughing at people. He said, stop. They're allowed to have an opinion. Come up here, talk. It takes a lot of guts to do that. He was trying to have conversations. Our country has a lack of having conversations. If you're against what the left says, then that's a problem. I've seen a lot of people say, if you're a MAGA, then I don't want anything to do with you. We are the Pride Month, we are fully accepting of all natures, but if you bring up Christ, oh, heaven forbid, if we disagree with their God is love, guess what? God is a God of justification. I don't care about the right or the left or whether something's right or wrong. I care over the fact that God says that if you wish somebody dead, you've already committed murder. Why is it okay for Charlie Kirk to die? Why is it okay for these women to be raped by illegals? Oh, that's just numbers being thrown out by the Republicans. That's just somebody who is inciting violence. Asking them to come to the microphone and telling people to stop laughing at them when he is saying, come up here and talk to me. People say that he incited racism when he said, I want to support people of all religions. We're trying to throw this racism card out there. I'm hitting everything. We're trying to hit this racism card out there. Well, guess what? What can blacks do that whites cannot? Name me something they cannot do that white people cannot. I worked in racism in the 40s and 50s with Rosa Parks. They had to go to a separate facility to use their own bathroom. They could not walk in a restaurant where there was a bunch of white people. They could not ride a bus if there was a white person on it. If a white person got on a bus, everybody else had to get off if they were black. They couldn't vote. There's a lot of things they could not do. They could not walk in a bank. They could not go to college if white people were there. They could not live in a certain area if it was mainly whites. What can black people do that whites cannot? You want to say, and I'm not being racist here, I'm stating fact. If it was a white college, they could not go to white colleges. They couldn't use a bathroom if it was a white bathroom. That is racism. That is wrong. Tell me what blacks can do that whites cannot. Most of the athletes in the pro sports are black. I have no problem with it. They worked hard for it. They deserve it. Nick Chubb, a Browns player, one of the most favored players in the Browns, and somebody the Browns still want back. I understand why they got rid of them, because he was injury prone for 2 years. He came back, ran for 500 yards, which is good. But he was used in a reserve situation off an injury where most people don't come back. I mean, he's worked his tail off. Shedeur Sanders is black, and everybody wants him to play. Didn't throw out good numbers. But nobody in the Browns was throwing out good numbers because we don't have an offensive line. Everybody's praising black quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. First time in history we had 2 opposing black quarterbacks. I got tired of hearing the whole rhetoric that blacks are leading the NFL. Not because they were black, but because we made it about race. These are 2 guys that worked their tail off in the NFL and deserved it. Who cares what color of skin they have? They deserved it. I am fed up with this whole, we're going to praise certain people, but the people that are trying to do right is wrong. And the Bible literally says in Revelations that in the end times, right will be wrong and wrong will be right. Where am I looking at with this? We're praising people for fighting law enforcement. And yes, ICE is law enforcement, regardless of how you want to look at it. And we're praising people that are breaking the law. There was a thing down in Florida, I forget the name. But a kid got shot because he reached into his jacket. The cop thought he had a gun. It wasn't, but he was reaching in his gun as if he was getting one. I'm sorry. And 99.9% of cops will shoot a kid if he's going for a gun. Especially when you're being told, yes, man, especially when you're being told, F the cops. I'm not sure what the conversation was, don't get me wrong. But when you're sitting there saying, I'm against cops, I'm going to shoot any cop out there, and then you reach into your shirt as if you're going to pull out a gun, what do you think is going to happen? Especially when a cop is trying to stop you and see what's going on, and you do that, what do you think is going to happen? You put your hand on a cop, an ICE agent, whatever you want to call it, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, you touched me, so it'll be okay. I'm just going to arrest you and it'll be fine. Okay, arrest me for touching you. He had a hand up. I agree with that. I saw that. I saw the same videos you guys saw. He has his hand up. Where was his other hand? On the cop, pushing him. Yeah, he was trying to protect somebody. But do you ever think that maybe the people they were going after was somebody who raped somebody? Somebody who forced themselves on somebody? Somebody who put somebody in a bad situation? We don't know the story. We're judging on a video that the media is taking out all sound, where you're hearing them say, put the gun down, stay back, take your hands off of a cop, cooperate. They were trying to arrest the guy and he was fighting them. Woe is the guy that is disobeying law enforcement. Where's the outrage for that? Make it make sense. I'm pleading with you. Make it make sense. I have fought people with last year. I don't want to say fight, but I had arguments with people last year because some things make sense to me in a certain way. The guy disagreed, and I'm like, okay, where's the argument? Tell me why something has to be a certain way. And he's like, well, it's just common sense that you act this way. And I'm like, but here's how I see it. Well, I don't care how you see it, basically. Make it make sense to me. Explain to me where it makes sense. Why does Charlie Kirk deserve to die? Why are people saying we wanted Charlie Kirk to die? But we're outraged because this guy was killed in cold blood. What about Charlie Kirk? He was killed in cold blood. Over letting people talk. Having a voice is bad. Being in law enforcement is bad. Why is it bad? Tell me. Did they shoot the guy? Yes. Did he deserve it? Were you there? George Floyd, were you there? We see what's on video, but were you a cop in that situation? I know I keep yelling, sorry. There needs to be voices that talks about common sense. I hate to see people die. I don't care. Good, bad, whatever. I hate to see people die. I don't wish anybody to be killed. You die of old age, it still hurts. My grandma died. I didn't want to see her die. My grandpa died. I didn't want to see him die. My uncle. Yeah. Some of my friends that I went to school with, I heard they died, and I'm like, what? You know, it sucks. Death sucks. I don't care who you are. And it might be good. It might be relief or something good from the people that are involved. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But when you have somebody that is fitting a political agenda that's being praised for being dead or being warmongering when they get killed, it's preventable. In every single situation, there's no reason for it. There's no understanding. There's no common sense for it. People, start thinking with your brains. Stop letting the media and the government and all these other people make you think for you. For the people that hate MAGA, and I'm not saying you can't have a disagreement, and I'm not saying you can't hate MAGA. Hate Trump. I mean, that's fine. But let's respect each other and have an understanding that everybody has a voice. Let's stop trying to say, I'm right, you're wrong. Okay, let me hear your side. I asked a guy, we played cards, and a guy said that I was really mad at you. You said a bunch of bad stuff. What did I say? Tell me what I said that was so bad so I can fix it. Oh, your decks were nasty. It's a game. Somebody wins, somebody loses. That's all I'm going to go with. But what did I say that was so bad? Well, your decks were bad. That was the only answer I got. I can't give you specific examples, but your decks are bad. If I was that bad, in which that night I didn't say much of anything. We are in a time where people, if they don't agree with you, do not allow you to speak. I have a whole bunch of places where I'm wrong for different stuff. But I asked for specifics, and I gave him specifics about, okay, I believe this way, and I believe that way, And here's what was said, here's what was done, maybe not exact words, but here's a paraphrase from one side to the other. This is what it is. And what can you give me back that tells me what I said that was so wrong? Your deck was bad. You won. Okay. I don't play a lot of certain. I'm not going to go to that, but my point is the fact that people don't want to listen. I'm willing to listen, but you got to make it make sense to me. Jesus is something that makes sense to me. Jesus says if you think about killing somebody, you're in the wrong. If you fight law enforcement, and yes, I'm paraphrasing what he says, but you go back and somebody asks him specifically about taxes. Why should we pay taxes? Why should we give the government what they want when you deserve everything? And he said, let Caesar have what Caesar wants. He's not saying bend over for the government. He's saying if it doesn't fight the kingdom of God, then respect it. Law enforcement should be respected. They're normal people like you and me. They're just trying to do a job. That's their life. They're doing it, believe it or not, a lot of those people are there to help people. But because it goes after somebody they might like. Somebody asked me, why, would you let somebody take one of your best friends if the law enforcement came and took somebody that should not be arrested? Do they have guns? What are people taught when they're being robbed at stores and at gas stations? What are we taught by the management and the trainings that we get when we're being trained how to do the job? If somebody comes in with a gun to arrest you, you let it happen. You get the cops all the information you want, but you let it happen because your life ain't worth it. Or your life is not worth the money they take. Your life is not worth the products they steal. Call the cops, let them deal with it. Because your life is more valuable. So why would you fight cops that could kill you because you're obstructing justice? Make it make sense. I know not a lot of people like these videos I make because I don't get a lot of views. And maybe it's just I'm just not out there yet. I'm not the best looking guy. I'm not the most attractive guy. But I'm using my brain. Make it make sense to me. Because I don't have sense out of this. I'm watching all kinds of outrage about this and that. And Charlie Kirk, outrage at Charlie Kirk. I'm not understanding. He wanted people to have a mic and have a voice. Be free to speak. And he got shot for it. But we're praising people that are fighting law enforcement. To me, that does not make sense. It's not making sense. And everybody hates what Trump is doing when it comes to law enforcement and illegals. But Obama did it with a very much higher numbers with a lot more inaccuracy. Make it make sense. And I can go on, and I'm not going to, but make it make sense to me because it does not make sense to me. All right, guys, give me your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Give me comment if you disagree or agree. Just give me some feedback. You guys be blessed. I will catch you on the next one. I'm confused.